Welcome back, everyone. Great to see you again. It's Derek here with another epic show full of adventures from the team here in Oz at CruiseAway, the #1 choice in Australia when it comes to planning those special trips. And talking of special trips, we have the ultimate in this show. With Cunard celebrating 185 glorious years of worldwide cruising, we have two unique and incredible journeys. Later, we'll be joining Queen Mary II on the second half of her world cruise next year, sailing from Sydney for 57 incredible nights across to Asia, Mauritius, South and East Africa, to the Canary Islands, the Med, and to her home in Southampton, with a stay in London included. But first, an opportunity few people will ever get to experience: the chance to sail on all four of Cunard's amazing queens in one globe-trotting trip, taking you to Alaska, New York, the classic transatlantic crossing for a British Isles cruise, and a wonderful Mediterranean finale to Rome, beautifully curated by our team. And this is for May next year, and your epic 51-night adventure begins with a flight first from Sydney over to Seattle in Washington State in the USA. And when we arrive, you'll have 2 nights in a hotel there as well. And this is a beautiful time of year to be here because spring is in full bloom and there's plenty of events happening here. Explore the Pike Place Market. There it is, as if on cue there. It's an iconic market in the city. You can visit the original Starbucks. They also have a museum of pop culture there for you to enjoy, and lots of other attractions too. Then it's time for cruise #1, and it's Cunard's Queen Elizabeth first, and we are on board for a week. Now, if you have, over the years, maybe you've taken your very first Cunard voyage, they call it, or cruise, maybe you already have hankered after doing another one. If you haven't yet had the experience, this is like, I don't know, it's like some epic kind of race across the world kind of challenge to actually be able to do all four and cruise all four of the Cunard vessels in one holiday. It's amazing. It's something I think really is a sort of life commemoration. It's a really special experience. When you're on board with Cunard, what it has is this charm of its 185-year heritage, but it also has kept up to date with the times as well. So you have got those traditional elements. So, you know, there are a couple of formal nights for you to dress up in your glad rags and, you know, enjoy the very, very finest. You'll always enjoy the finest in terms of the cuisine and the service while you're on board. But conversely, on the other side of that, so it has those lovely daily charms, things like afternoon tea, going to see a show in the Royal Court Theatre, all of that kind of grandeur. But actually, it's very, very casual and comfortable. Do you know what I mean? It's really in step with the part of the world that you are in as well. You'll find it really quite wonderful to be able to disappear into the Golden Lion pub and just enjoy just these wonderful surroundings, which almost look like they're from a film set, don't they? They are amazing. These ships are so impressive looking as well. So we are sailing out of Seattle on Queen Elizabeth. We've got a day at sea, and we're doing Alaska here. So Ketchikan is first. The Totem Bite State Park and the Lumberjack Show is something that a lot of people love to do in this part of the world. And of course, this is a very good place for crab, apparently. Crab feast is one of the things on the menu. Juneau is next. Now you can take a dog sledding adventure by helicopter here. So you fly over the glaciers and then actually ride them with the Huskies, which is lovely. Next, we head through Tracy Arm Fjord, and a day at sea finds us in Victoria in Canada. And the whale watching adventure is very, very popular here as well. The orcas, the humpback whales, and the sea lions as well, which is very nice indeed. We disembark back into Seattle. We've got a second hotel stay here as well, which is lovely. And this time we're staying for a little bit longer. We're staying for 3 nights. Now, you see the Sky Tower there, the Space Needle, which is absolutely fantastic. It's well worth going up there Seeing the views across the city. There are lovely candlelight concerts at this time of the year. They have rooftop bars with happy hours and outdoor dining. So there's lots to keep you amused while you're there. Then we fly you from Seattle over to New York, New York. Now you're going to be in New York City for 5 nights in a hotel. This is going to be great. So you can tick off all of the things that are on your list right now to see in New York. Wandering through Central Park, going up the Empire State Building, taking in a show on Broadway, doing the Statue of Liberty, doing a tour of that maybe. Of course, you'll be sailing out past it as well, and you'll be doing it on iconic Queen Mary 2. And we are doing the quintessential transatlantic on Queen Mary 2 from New York over to Southampton in the UK. Now it makes me tingle every time I think about it, because you have here the chance to relax and really indulge into the experience of voyaging with Cunard, because it is absolutely wonderful. And as I say, you've got these wonderful, charming decors all around you. You have got that kind of sense of occasion and treating yourself. There are wonderful group activities there. You saw a dance class there, for instance. They have dance hosts on board, so you can really learn how to up your step maybe. And I tell you what I have learned over the last 5-10 years is actually that the average demographic of people traveling now with Cunard is changing in quite a big way. And I know how this has happened. When we had the big pause in travel, of course, it kind of made us refocus how we holiday. So a lot of people now are traveling with family groups, and of course families come in all ages, shapes and sizes, don't they? And actually we live in an Instagram world. Other social media is available where everyone wants to look right in the right picture, in the right setting. It's all about the selfie, the grand staircase, and everything looking wonderful. And what people are finding right now is if you are, I mean, listen, I've got more than 50 years on the clock myself, and I'm less into being formal. What you're finding now is the 20-somethings. They're the ones that are wanting to get dressed up to the nines to have those perfect pictures taken on those staircases. So it's really lovely to see a whole mix of ages enjoying the experience, enjoying it together as well, and getting very, very different things out of it. Because, you know, please don't get the wrong impression that this is all about everyone being in suits 24 hours a day. There are things like silent discos. You could be dancing into the wee small hours of the morning in the nightclub, for instance. You can just have the greatest experiences. The dining is just spectacular. The service is amazing. And I just think the amount of special occasion moments there will be on the iconic transatlantic. I mean, being able to chalk that up in your lifetime, I think, is just incredible. So you will have those wonderful 6 days at sea across from New York to Southampton. When you get to Southampton, we then transfer you up into London, the capital, of course, of England, and we've got a hotel stay there for you for 4 nights. Now, this is a wonderful, wonderful time of year to see London as well, because you're seeing it at its most buzzing as well. You can go around the wonderful parks. I'm just thinking about seeing the lovely blooms in Kew Gardens, for instance, going to see the palaces, having a little cruise along the Thames. So many things to do. We then transfer you from London back down to Southampton, because it's time now for cruise number 3. And this time, cruise number 3 is the very, very latest addition to the Cunard family. Remember, there are only 4 ships anyway. You're doing all of them on this holiday, and this is the very latest, launched last year. Here is the Queen Anne. Now, you'll see straight away that it's very open, it's very bright, it's very light. It's a different character to the other queens, because what you've got here is a ship built for the modern age. So it does have aspects of that lovely charm, sophistication and heritage that comes from Cunard, but it's also Cunard moving with the times as well and creating what the modern day luxury traveller wants to enjoy. You know, like a fully equipped gym, like a very, very full service in the spa, things like thermal suites, thalassotherapy beds. You know, it's all about the treatments and the tweakments these days, isn't it? Amazing dining, of course, great lounges that are very much part of quintessential Cunard. The Golden Lion pub is still there. The Commodore Club is still there. If you know your Cunard, those charming touches are still there very much to enjoy. And I think you're going to really enjoy this cruise, actually. We're going to be cruising over 12 nights, and we're next going around the British Isles, setting sail out of Southampton, which again is always very special. And we're heading straight up to Scotland, to Edinburgh. Now, this is wonderful. Of course, I would always recommend going and walking around the Royal Yacht Britannia, because that's got to be a special moment. But the Royal Mile is just beautiful. Then we go into Invergordon. Now, Invergordon is more kind of rural Scotland, really. So this is all about the lovely Highland scenery. There's a distillery here, the famous Glenmorangie, which you will have heard of course. You can go and find out more about that. Next, we head to Stornoway. Love Stornoway. These islands off Scotland are just so charming. You've got the Callanish standing stones there, which are just stunning. And this is all about the wildlife. And then we head into the Isle of Skye, which is just so charming. It's all about the countryside. Take a nice driving tour, if you can, with Cunard in this part of the world, because it is just magical for the views. Next, we head into Oban. Now, this again is where you can go and explore the glens here. Kilmartin Glen is here. You can take a boat trip over to the island of Mull, or Iona, maybe, these stunning little islands off of Scotland. Next, we head across to Northern Ireland, to Belfast, the very famous Giant's Causeway. Natural attraction there with the hexagonal basalt stones there is stunning. If you get a chance to do it, please do. And then we nip across over to England and to Liverpool. Liverpool is a stunning city, very, very charming, lovely maritime heritage there, of course. The Beatles, you can hear their music everywhere around. You're going to have a great day there. Day at sea, we nip back across the Irish Sea, back to the port for Cork here, which is Cobh. Wonderful. You can go into Cork City itself here. There's a lovely coastal walk. There's a harbour cruise that you can take here as well, or you can go and kiss the Blarney Stone. A day at sea, and we end this cruise in Southampton. We will then transfer you up to London from Southampton, and to the airport, actually, because we'll then fly you over to Barcelona. Now, when we arrive in Barcelona, we've got a night in a hotel here as well. Are you keeping up, by the way? We are so far 3 out of 4, and this is 4 out of 4 now. This is Queen Victoria. So we are back now to the quintessential Cunard styling, decor, ambience, feel. And you know what? The team on board, it feels very special. First of all, these are fairly low number cruise ships. I mean, when you look at the size of the ship versus the number of passengers, I think you'll be very, very pleasantly surprised, because they do have a lot of staff, and you can see how beautifully they're dressed. So the whole thing feels like an occasion. Your accommodation on board is stunning, by the way. Everything you need is there. And all the services and facilities that you want are there. Moreover, I'm just thinking on all, and this counts for all of the ships, as we've done all 4 queens in this, is that they have the professional photographers on board. So on that night or that couple of nights on your cruise, depending on the length of your cruise, when you are having that formal night, have that picture taken by the professional photographers coming down the grand staircases. They actually have a photo studio there as well, where they can put you in other scenarios and take your picture as well, which I think is quite fun. Of course, I haven't yet mentioned, in lounges like you've just seen there, every single day of your Cunard voyage, on all 4 of these Cunard voyages, you can enjoy the most opulent and beautiful tradition of afternoon tea. Which is so charming. You've got all the specialty teas there. They do coffee as well, by the way, if you're more coffee than tea. The little cakes and the little sandwiches, you can upgrade it to a champagne experience if you want to. But also, look at the more casual side of the dining here. Going into the Golden Lion pub, they do have a casual dining restaurant as well. So don't think that every night of your cruise that, oh, right, okay, here we go, back to the, you know, the whole 6 courses and whatever, because you can have this the way you want it. That's the great thing. I mean, Cunard, yes, is rooted in tradition, but it's very much followed the trend of modern travelling and how people like to be casual and comfortable and in step with the climate and the part of the world they're actually visiting as well. So you have no worries whatsoever. You are just going to have the very, very greatest time, be served by the most charming team on board, entertained in style. Everything about this is wonderfully elevated. So we're in Barcelona for this final cruise, 7 nights on Queen Victoria, heading to Alghero first, which is Sardinia. Sardinia is French, actually. It's beautiful. There's Neptune's Grotto here, and you can take a lovely coastal cruise or go wine tasting in the countryside. And we will go to Corsica next, to Ajaccio in Corsica. Again, there's a food and wine experience here if you want to take it as well. Local cheeses, charcuterie and wines at a traditional market. Sounds like a good day to me. Day at sea through the Messina Strait to Messina itself in Sicily, of course. Mount Etna, who's had a recent eruption, hasn't she? She's an active volcano and she very much dominates this part of the world. Beautiful. And then we head to Salerno, where you can take a lovely Amalfi coast drive if you want to. Maybe visit Positano, which is nearby. Or you could take just simply a glamorous Sophia Loren experience, a boat tour to Capri. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? We disembark in Civitavecchia, which is the port for Rome. We will then transfer you into the city, and it's one final stay, a romantic 3-night hotel stay in Rome for you to enjoy. I would be heading straight to the Vatican City, of course. It's been very much in the headlines recently, so it would be nice to go in there, stand in the wonderful Sistine Chapel, go to the Colosseum, do all of the sights before finally, it's 51 nights later, isn't it? You will then fly back to Oz. Incredible. What a journey. What a journey. And you are literally every single one of the Cunard Queens you have covered over those 51 nights next year. And look at all of the places you are going to. They are just stunning. They really are. And you really hop backwards and forwards to here and there. And we really have tailored this beautifully. There's so much included and so much to show you. Look, it's taken 3 pages of details to take you through this. And if you do want to look at it a little bit more leisure, I don't have a lot of time in this show, but if you pop that number there into our website at cruiseaway.com.au, you'll have all of the details. Now let's get to the price tag, and this is one of the most epic Cunard rich journeys you could ever wish for. And I bet you were thinking, if you were trying to tot it up as you were going along, I bet you were thinking, yeah, okay, this is never going to happen for me. But look at that price tag. This should not be. For the amount of journey, 51 nights, that's what, over 7 weeks of holiday. You are dotting here, there and absolutely everywhere. There's a deposit available if you want to get this booked right now for you. And if you think about the way this is being curated, it's amazing. So you can simply book it and then enjoy it as well. So let me just tell you, let's just show you everything that's included in this. So it includes your flight first from Sydney to Seattle, 2-night hotel stay there before your first Alaska week-long cruise on Queen Elizabeth. Then there's another 3-night stay in Seattle before flying to New York for a 5-night hotel stay there in the Big Apple. Then the iconic transatlantic on the Queen Mary 2 from New York to Southampton in the UK. We then transfer you to London for a 4-night hotel stay there, and then transfer you back down to Southampton for cruise number 3 on the brand new Queen Anne for 12 nights around the British Isles. Then transfer you back to London, this time to the airport to fly to Barcelona for a 1-night hotel stay there before your final cruise on board the Queen Victoria for 7 nights, ending in Rome with 3 nights there in a hotel for you, and your transfer to Rome Airport for the flight back to Sydney. Oh my crikey. That's amazing, isn't it? I don't think I've ever seen as many words on our screen ever in any offer. It's brilliant. If you want to know more, 1300 411 968. I could have taken the whole show just talking to you about that, but I'm going to squeeze in part of Queen Mary II's World Cruise for next year. Now, she's going to be doing 110 nights to and from Southampton around the world from the 11th of January through to the 30th of April next year. And our next CruiseAway package covers the second half of that cruise as we join her for 57 unforgettable nights from Sydney, starting on the 4th of March. So here we are back on Queen Mary II. We saw her, of course, as part of the Four Queens offer earlier on in the show. And she is, of course, the most stunning ship. I think actually when you think of Cunard, I think out of all of the queens, her name comes to you most readily, doesn't it? If you think Cunard, you straight away think Queen Mary II, don't you? Because she is that. It's funny, isn't it? And you think of her doing that iconic transatlantic backwards and forwards, New York to Southampton, Southampton to New York. But she takes little dalliances around the world elsewhere as well, like this world cruise, which is fantastic. Do you know when you're on board as well, and I'm not sure if I've mentioned it so far, there's so much enrichment on board, because you might be thinking, you know, you have a bunch of sea days, what's going to happen? I'm going to wait for the next port, sit still for 4 days until we find another port. No, there's so much to fill your time if you want to while you're on board. So many nice quiet spaces to escape to and just enjoy. But also they'll have guest lecturers who come on board, and they might be someone who's well known in their particular field. Sometimes it's astronomers, sometimes it's television personalities or authors. I mean, they will have a number of different options for you to enjoy as you are going on your cruise as well. So there's a lot that happens. There's a lot of things that you can get involved in. There's a games room on board as well, where you can sit and kind of play card games or board games with fellow passengers as well. You'll meet the most fascinating people on these cruises as well, by the way. And then you've got things like the Mariel Spa as well, where you can really, you know, maybe not in everyday life, you take the time to take half a day and a spa package or a whole day spa package and just be, you know, absolutely pampered for the day. It's going to be incredible. And there's lots of different things to kind of appeal to different people as well. So even if you're traveling with a group of people, you've all got different interests. You can all kind of satisfy those interests. It's nice as well to be able to walk right the way around the deck. You can't do it on so many cruise ships these days, and it's those traditional teak decks as well. It really feels like the authentic cruising experience, which has been happening with Cunard throughout its heritage, which is, well, they're celebrating 185 years this year. Let's take this half-world cruise then, and we're picking up in Sydney. First night in Sydney itself, which is wonderful. So you get, first of all, to sit in the harbour, and everyone that comes down to the harbour wants to have a look at the ship, so you'll be able to sit there for the day and enjoy that. Sail out of Sydney, and then we'll have a day at sea to Brisbane, South Bank, of course, to wander around there, and many more experiences. Then we go up to Yorkeys Knob. This is great for Daintree Rainforest as well. The Cunard Railway, which is lovely. Snorkeling adventures in this part of the world. Then we go to the top end to Darwin. Jumping crocodile cruise on the Adelaide River. I would love to see that. Absolutely fantastic. The saltwater crocs there. Then a couple of days at sea, we're across to Indonesia. Now we go travelling. There's lots here in Bitung, actually. There's a nature reserve wildlife park there, which is well worth looking up. 3 days at sea, we're in Hong Kong now. Now we're here for an overnight, so you'll get 2 days to explore. There's a lovely night skyline tour that you can take here, which is very, very popular. Then we head to Vietnam after a day at sea to Chiang Mai first. And of course, lots of things here. Marble Mountain, Da Nang. We're near Hoi An as well. So lots of choices here. Of course, lots of excursion opportunities with Cunard while you're on board as well. A couple of days at sea and overnight in Singapore, which we know only too well, of course, before we head on then to KL, Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Batu Caves, you've got the Petronas experience as well, going up into the towers and seeing the view. Next, after a few days at sea, we're in Port Louis in Mauritius. Mauritius is just dreamy. The wonderful botanical gardens there are stunning. 3 days at sea, we're in Durban now in South Africa. Maybe go to a Zulu cultural village, or maybe take a safari experience. A couple of days at sea, we're in Cape Town next. We're here for an overnight as well, which is brilliant. So you can do Table Mountain or Robben Island one day. You could do a wine tasting at a vineyard another maybe. Walvis Bay next in Namibia, where you can see those amazing flamingo. They are just incredible. There's a seal colony there as well. You can go and visit. A little transatlantic crossing there to Dakar in Senegal, next to the Pink Lake, which is very, very nice indeed, before we head across to Tenerife in the Canary Islands. There's a tapas tasting and wine tour that you can take here in the Canary Islands. Stay at sea across to Spain into Cadiz, where you can visit Andalusia and Ronda and the white villages there, which is quite stunning. Couple of days at sea, and then we'll disembark in Southampton. We will then transfer you up to London, the capital, for a 3-night hotel stay there, you lucky people. Now, forgive me, I flew through that at a rate of knots. If you want to have a more leisurely look over the whole holiday, again, that number on the left-hand side just under the Cunard logo, if you pop that into our website at cruiseaway.com.au, you will get the whole 9 yards and get all of the details about all the places you're going to. But the great thing about a trip like this is, even if you've never been to any of those places, you don't have to do any homework, because there's lots of information. There's port presentations on board, on the ship, on your television in your stateroom as well. There'll be more port information with ideas of things to do in the ports too. But this is all about the special feel of a world cruise, or in this case, a half world cruise on the beautiful Queen Mary 2 next year. 57 nights of voyaging from Sydney to the UK and a 3-night stay in London, plus your flight back to Sydney as well, at a price tag you would never expect for the size of cruise. I think honestly, the two experiences we've put into this show, the Four Queens experience and the half world cruise, wow, it's difficult, isn't it? A deposit today will secure this for you as well. Let's show you everything that's included. What a journey! From Australia to Indonesia to Hong Kong to Vietnam to Singapore to Kuala Lumpur to Mauritius to South and East Africa to the Canary Islands to Spain and into the UK. Special events on board marking this special journey as well, because it is half a world cruise, ending in iconic Southampton for your transfer to London to enjoy a 3-night hotel stay there before flying back to Sydney from London. And that flight, by the way, we've upgraded you to premium economy for the return flight to Sydney as well. You're very welcome. And it's a nice way to round off that lovely experience as well. I wish I had more time to give you more details. Actually, I'm going to hand it over to you right now and say to you, call the team. You have the number there, 1300 411 968. That's a toll-free number. If you have any questions whatsoever, then please do talk to the team. And listen, if you want to do that full 110 nights on Queen Mary 2 from January through to April, again, just talk to the team and we will package it up and get you booked on. Thank you so much for your company. We are here every single day to CruiseAway, and the rest of our shows are on our YouTube channel as well. So listen, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you back here soon.